Hi, everybody. Erica here from In the Company of Cards. So, first of all, welcome. Welcome back. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Okay, listen, let me get into it. I'm so excited. Okay. As I warned the other day, I guess, yeah, the other day, Tuesday, I did read on who would be the next pope. I gave you as the caveat the fact that I am not your bookie, so I hope nobody put any money down on my choice. Oh, you know what? Let me light our candle because I always light a candle when I am with you all. Okay, so our candle. Um, so anyway, I got it wrong, and I am not mad that I got it wrong. I think this was probably quite the inspired choice on the part of the Cardinals. Uh, Hmm. So before I say more, I wanted to go back to the three cards that I pulled for the American, Robert Provost, who is now Pope Leo the 14th. And I remember that I pulled the cards and I was like, oh yeah, no, it's not going to be him. I mean, I didn't even really give too much elaboration on it because I thought, like most people, there's not going to be an American Pope. And yet here we are. Now, why am I excited? Well, it's not that he's an American. First of all, I'm not Catholic, so whatever, but it's not that he's an American, except it kind of is that he's an American. I think that I think this was another step on the path of revolution, the revolution that I keep talking about. Another path, another step on the path of our storming the Bastille. Because in case you haven't heard, before his elevation as Pope, uh, Robert Prevost, however you said his name, Pope Leo the 14th, was a vocal critic of the Trump administration, most specifically, of course, on the subject of immigration. But anyway, these were the cards that I pulled for him yesterday: Clover, Snake, and the Young Man. And I saw that snake and I thought, oh, yeah, no. But listen, one of my viewers pointed out, and I think they were correct, this Clover card, which I thought, oh, Clover, yesterday I thought, that's a good card for him. But I also noted that this is a speedy card. So, yes, it was a speedy selection. People were not expecting the decision to come as quickly as it did. So that was Clover. Second card is the snake. And I thought that this would be a problem for um, Robert Provost. That's what I thought. That's his name, Provost. I don't know what I said before. I thought this would be mean that he would have a problem with the other cardinals, or that they wouldn't vote for him or whatever. But I don't think so. And what I want to do is when I go through finish talking about these cards, I'm going to pull clarifiers on them and see if we can get more detail. But I mean, I think he is trouble. I just think he's good trouble. Now, he is sort of rabidly against abortion, but I mean, what would you expect from the Pope? I mean, yeah. Um, But aside from that, on social issues, he's pretty progressive. And again, on the issue of immigration and the way it's being handled in this administration, he is a fierce critic of that. So he will be a fly in the ointment for people like Vance and certainly Trump. Not mad about that one bit. The third card is this young man card. Now, he is young. He's a year older than I am. I'm going to say he looks considerably older than I do, I hope. But anyway, he's only a year older than I am, which is young for a pope, which means he could conceivably have a long tenure. God willing, and the creek don't rise, as my mother would have said. And also remember that this is that young, assertive energy. He's a Virgo astrologically, but apparently he's got a bunch of planets in Leo, and which makes him um, no joke to mess with. When Vance went and sold a wolf ticket to Francis, and then Francis ended up dead the next day, I think Francis said, "You know what? I'm going to let the choir take over. I'm done here. Let the choir take over." Well, Pope Leo the 14th is the choir, and he will be a voice for what is right and good in the world, I think. The abortion issue notwithstanding. I mean, again, he's Catholic. What do you expect? So I'm thinking let's pull some cards on these three cards, some clarifiers, and just see what we get. Okay. So these are our cards. Oh, I didn't even take my cards out of the tin. I was so excited to come in and see you. And again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. No reader has 100% accuracy. I would say that the best among us, I think I'm one of the best, have maybe an 85% accuracy rating. Um, I mean, I'm good with that. I think that's good. I am delighted to have been wrong about this, because I think that what it means is that the church, in fact, is not looking to go backwards at all. That the church is looking to engage with the world on issues that need engaging with. And God knows we over here in the United States need all the helpful engagement we can get. So, okay, here we go. Okay. So I just pulled on the three cards that I pulled the other day for John Prevost, uh, Pope Leo the 14th. And so on Clover, which is, remember, a surprise, we have clarifiers, the dog, the clouds, and the book. What we didn't know, what was obscured for us, what we didn't know is that he's made a lot of friends and allies, obviously, among the cardinals of the conclave, which was lucky for him and would cause him to be picked quickly. That's what that's about. We didn't know, so I'm not the only one who didn't know. This was a dark horse pick. If you put money on him as being the pope, hmm, you'd be kicking up your heels now because you will have made a lot of money. Um, Nobody expected this for all kinds of reasons, but he is someone whom his brother cardinals respected, admired, obviously, right? Enough to elevate him quick, fast, and in a hurry. Okay. So the card that I'm really interested in, of course, is the snake. Like, is he good trouble? Clarifiers are the moon, the young woman card, and the ring. I know that his thing is, not abortion, but adoption should be the response. Um, okay. Uh, so Snake, he will be known in certain quarters as trouble, as someone to reckon with, as someone to take seriously. JD, watch out. Now, he may very well also um, profess a commitment to the plight of women insofar as, though he's against adoption, his next line is, okay, how can I be against abortion? How can I be against abortion and not come up with some alternative plan for the children of, these women who get pregnant? Now, again, I mean, I believe in choice, So I'm trying to be nice here. But I think he will show commitment to women, maybe to their voices in the church. Don't get worked up. He's not going to ordain women as priests or anything like that. But women, a lot of times are the backbones of the church, including the Catholic Church. And so I think he will want to show honor and respect to them. I think he will, you know, come up with maybe some sort of modern argument against abortion that maybe people will find more palatable. I mean, I just say until you've carried a child, if you can never, if you're a man, mind your business. But anyway, that's just me. I'm pro-choice. I find this very interesting. Now, this is also yin energy, but I don't think so. I think here we're talking about the role of women in the church. Nobody's going to ordain them as priests. That's not going to happen. But they could be um, raised up in some way that shows honor, if not deference. I think he'll be also, this is the last card in that line. So, what's the card I can mirror it with? The first card in the line. He is committed to being this gadfly for the poor, for the immigrant population. He is committed to good trouble. So I like that about him. Okay, and then the final card in our original three card lineup was this young man energy, this yang energy, this very forceful energy. Again, he's a Virgo, but he's got, I think, three planets in Leo, which makes him quite the go-getter. I know I have a lot of Leo in my chart as well. And the clarifiers for this card are the tower, the lily, and the coffin. I think I really like this too. So he will use all of his leonine um, Leo, Pope Leo, leonine Leo, all of that Leo in his chart um, to benefit the institution of the church and the name of the church and the good name of the church. I think he will want to bring some sort of peace to the various um, what the various parts of the church family, like the American branch, the Latin American branch, the European branch, the African branch. I think he has spent most of his life abroad, a lot of time in Peru, but other places as well. So he's as I said the other day, he's a citizen of the world and a peacemaker and a peace bringer. But he won't bring peace at any cost. Like he will speak truth to power because he himself is power. And it will be in a way that is transformational. I can mirror this card of transformation with this card. It means that the cardinals in the church understand the need for transformation, for the church to be a change agent in the world in new ways. Now, I will say one more thing about him before we move on, which is that, popes pick their name, right? So if you're a candidate, it's kind of like, I don't know, I guess it's like when you're a kid and you write your Christmas list in July, what you want for Christmas, 30 dolls and 20 pencils, whatever. Um, I guess they think about this in advance. What name would I like to take? We know that Francis took his name from St. Francis of Assisi. He was the very first Francis. Nobody had been named, had taken that name Francis before, which is interesting because St. Francis of Assisi is a beloved saint. Well, Leo, what's that about? Well, I don't, speculation has it that we don't have to go very far to look for um, his inspiration. It is Leo the 13th. So it was the last Leo. He's the 14th. This was the last Leo. Now, that last Leo was Pope from 1878 to 1903. He was a very long-lived Pope. And one of the things that Pope Leo XIII is known for is having commissioned a prayer. It's let's see what it's called. It's hold on. Yeah, it's a, it's a Saint Michael the Archangel prayer. So this is Leo's predecessor, Leo XIII. So this prayer is considered a powerful invocation seeking protection and guidance from the Archangel Michael. It commonly includes a plea for defense against the devil. Ooh, who might that be? The devil and his evil forces. Oh, and whom might they be? That's a rhetorical question. And it's used for spiritual warfare, protection, and healing. And here's the prayer: Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our defense against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl about the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Great prayer, right? And a timely prayer, and one that we should take with us into the months that come. For those of you who are going out to um, protest, I understand the next big one is June 14th. I will look at that once June comes around. That is also, you know, whose birthday. It is also Flag Day. Um, so, uh, as you go out on that day to protest, maybe pull up a copy of that prayer of Saint Michael the Archangel, and you might want to take it as your mantra. Because when we talk about the forces of evil in the world, like I said, we don't have to look too far. Love it. Okay, so that's that on that. Uh, I am sure that Vance and his boss are shaking in their boots, quaking in their shoes. I hope so. Uh, Dr. Lena and I said that next month we're going to talk about religion uh, as one of the subjects that we discuss next time when we meet. And when we said religion, we were essentially referring to the Cristo nationalist movement. I think with the elevation of Pope Leo XIV, Cristo nationalism will get a run for its money because one of the things that Pope Leo XIV wants to do is to uh, give people a very clear understanding of who Jesus was, who the Christ is. And that is very different from the bazooka wielding Christo nationalist Christ of, you know, you know who and his ilk. So I think it will be a battle royal between good and evil. Yeah. So listen, I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. Okay, another thing, one little quick thing I thought I would also look at. So, you know who had to pull his nomination for Surgeon General? Uh, I think that person probably was not anti-vax enough. So anyway, a new person has been named as the nominee for Surgeon General. And this person's name is Casey Means, Casey Means, Means. Well, Casey Means is, above all, uh, known as an Instagram influencer. Now, to her credit, She has some credits. She went to Stanford University Medical School. That's no joke. I mean, back east where I'm from, and I went to Harvard, as you know. We knew Stanford as the Harvard of the West. Now that I live in the West, I see the arrogance of that. But at any rate, Stanford is a wonderful medical school. So she went there, got her degree, and then she was meant to do a residency in surgery, and she dropped out of the residency. Now, okay, whatever. But okay, so she didn't finish her surgical residency. She has no active medical license. Wait, what? And she promotes um, pseudoscience, of course, because Robert Kennedy loves her, as an Instagram influencer, which means that, 47 probably thinks that she is, what is his term? Um, what is that term he uses for people he thinks are, oh, he probably thinks she's central casting worthy. Oh, she looks like she's from central casting. That's a big thing for him. He would have seen Stanford Medical School and been impressed, and he would have glossed over the fact that she has no active medical license, that she dropped out of her residency, and that she hawks pseudoscience a la Mehmet Oz and Robert Kennedy Jr. So anyway, here's the gossip. Nicole Shanahan. Now, Nicole Shanahan is this very wealthy woman, young, she's 39, who was uh, RFK Jr.'s erstwhile, meaning former, um, running mate. Remember when he was running for president? She was his running mate. The theory is, word on the street has it that largely that was because she's got deep pockets, because she's wealthy. Anyway, she came out and said something is rotten in the state of DC because I told RFK Jr. that I would run with him as his running mate on the condition that Casey Means, this new nominee for Surgeon General, would never be anywhere near the administration. Now, I don't know what Nicole Shanahan's beef is with Casey Means beyond the fact that she's unqualified for the position, which is a pretty big beef. It feels like there's a little bit more there to her though, to the beef. I don't know what it's about, but at any rate, Nicole Shanahan came out and said, he promised me that this Casey Means would get nowhere near the administration. Well, here she is now nominated. And further, Nicole Shanahan, the former running mate of RFK, said, I think that Robert Kennedy Jr. is having somebody in his ear telling him all of the moves he can and cannot make, he should and should not make. And that uh, this latest one, this Casey Means, um, is someone else's pick. Like somebody who has some sort of ulterior motive towards us and our health and welfare, the American people's health and welfare, urged Robert Kennedy to support this nominee. So I think what I want to do, Casey Means is not an old person. I wonder how old she is. Let me see. I'm just going to look and see how old she is because, um, all right. Oh, she's young. She's younger than Shanahan. Okay. So she's 37, again, an Instagram influencer. And so I'm going to use the young woman card for her. And I just want to see what's around her. Does Nicole Shanahan have a point? Is there someone else pulling the strings on this nomination besides RFK Jr.? Like, why was she the nominee? Aside from the fact that 47 will think that she looks like she's from central casting. What else is going on there? Um, because I do think where there's smoke, there's fire. And then these two women may just not like each other. But I don't know. I feel like there's more to it. So, because she said, Shanahan, she said, either RFK Jr. lied to me when he said, oh, yeah, no, 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 Casey Means will get nowhere near the administration. Either he lied or he was forced to support her nomination by I don't know whom, maybe some Project 2025 person. Okay, so let's look at Casey Means, the undoctored doctor. Okay, so we're going to use the younger woman. Who's deep in the deck, but that doesn't mean anything, as you know. Okay, this will stand for the new um, a Surgeon General uh, nominee, Casey Means, who seems to be, frankly, underqualified for the job. All right. I'm not going to keep us too long today, but I am going to speculate here, or not, well, educatedly speculate, given the cards. The first card that we've got is the cross. Traditionally, when you pull a line, like I just did, a five, and the first card is the cross, it's a sign that the question itself is something of a non-starter for some reason. I'll say more about that in a second. So we have the cross, we have crossroads, we have Casey Means, we have you know who, and we have the book. I said I wasn't going to pull clarifiers, but I think I might pull a couple. So when the line begins with a cross, and it means that the question is a non-starter, sometimes that feels a little um, scary to me. Like, why is the question a non-starter? Well, I can mirror this card with the last card in the line, the book. In other words, there are absolutely things that are hidden about Casey Means and her nomination, which is to say, Nicole Shanahan is probably correct that there are wheels within wheels here that we're not understanding, that Robert Kennedy Jr. may have been given a directive to put her forward or have 47 put her forward. This is really, it feels shady and nefarious to me, these two cards together. The second card is Crossroads, meaning that there's more than one reason why she's been nominated. We already know the one, I can mirror it with this card, which is that he thinks, oh, she went to Stanford Medical School. That's a good school, which is true. Oh, she looks like she's from Central Casting. Those would be his criteria. But there are other people who have other criteria for putting her in. I mean, this might seem trivial to you, but it's actually not. I mean, this is the Surgeon General we're talking about, the one who gives, recommendations on our health and how our health should be safeguarded. So let's pull some clarifiers on everything. Maybe not three, but a couple anyway. So on the cross, I have the garden, the ring, and the rider. On crossroads, I have the bear, the fox, and the tower. On Casey Means Herself, I have the birds, the sun, and fish. I think that's pretty clear to me. On You Know Who, I have the letter, the lily, and the mice. And on the book, remember the book is about things we don't know. I have the scales, clouds, and the bouquet. All right. Mm. And you know what? I think I'll draw a postscript. Okay. That will be interesting for you to hear about too. Okay. So again, our first card is the cross. Again, when you see a line that begins with the cross, what a lot of readers would do would say, "Oh, yeah, no, ask me a different question, or ask it a different, ask it, ask it a different way." But this is the question that I want to ask. What's up with Casey Means? Why is Nicole Shanahan so against her nomination? I mean, again, she's not a good nominee. She's got no current medical license. She sells pseudoscientific medical advice on Instagram. She's an influencer. Is that really, I mean, okay, but so we're keeping this card in, and the clarifiers for that are the garden, the ring, and the rider. I think that, you know, here's what I think. I think the fact that she has quite a large Instagram following is also part of the appeal. Um, this is people who follow her. And so they'll listen to her when she gives her messages. So I think that's part of it is, it's like when you write a book, a publisher will say to you, well, what kind of following do you have? Because we want to sell a lot of books and we're not going to sell them for you. You essentially have to sell them yourself. And so we want to know what is your social media presence? What kind of a following do you have? Um, she has a big social media following. So that's part of why. Um, you know, People who will be loyal to her. So if you want to make the country buy into things like no vaccines or no masks or, you know, no food inspectors or something, there's already like a built-in group of people who will say to each other, well, I mean, if Dr. Casey, whatever her name is, Casey Means says it, then it must be true. Because I like Dr. Casey. I watch her on Instagram. People can be shallow that way. So it will get buy-in from a certain segment of the population. But I don't love the fact that here's this cross card and it's mirrored by this. I mean, I think that the message that she gives us about what is good or not good for our health can actually be deleterious to our health, will cause us problems moving forward. All right. Now, crossroads. Remember I said that when I looked at this card by itself, there are different reasons why she got the job, why she got the nomination or got nominated. She hasn't gotten she hasn't been confirmed. She's just been nominated. But why is she the nominee? Well, again, because Trump thinks that she's from Central Casting and she's got a big social media presence and she went to Stanford Medical School. But there are other people with other interests in what she can do for them. We have You Know Who, and we have these other bad actors, and followed by the tower. I think that this is Project 2025 people who sort of have a vested interest in privatizing every single thing, including Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, well, all of that. Whatever they don't get rid of, they want to privatize, and to create a subservient class that work in factories while the rich ones count their money. I mean, that's basically what they want. A dumbed down public, a drone-like public. Um, so these are the nefarious actors who are at play. I think Nicole Shanahan is correct. Here is Casey Means herself, birds. It's a lot of buzz. People are like, oh my God, I follow her on Instagram. That's so cool. She's going to be the Surgeon General. That's what this card is. Um, you know, happy talk. Lots of fish in the sea. She has a good social media presence. He likes that. You know who likes that? Because it's a means to get to the masses. Okay, then we have him, you know who, and we have letter, lily, and mice. He has already had to pull somebody else from consideration for a different post. So he really wants his pick to go through. He needs that peace of mind, but he does not have that peace of mind. Also, uh, and it's not just that RFK Jr. is being told what to do. I think you know who is also has got strings attached to him that are being pulled by other actors. He's afraid that if he doesn't get this nominee through, he will have disappointed his handlers. So he wants to keep them content. Okay, and then we have this card book, things we don't know. Clarifiers are the scales, clouds, and the bouquet. So what is it that we don't know? We don't know all the things that went into weighing, selecting her as the nominee. We don't know what those things are. That stuff's obscured from us. But this is like the brass ring. Um, it's like a reward. And the reward that she would get in getting this job, for her, it would be quite the plum assignment, right? Means nothing good for us, the public, because this is a card of pain and suffering and death and disease, just pain, basically. So her gain is our loss. Now, I drew a three-card postscript, and that's sort of to say, is there any last minute thing I can say about this? For any final take on this, given what we know. And the cards are the mountain, the anchor, and the whip. Uh, these two are really stuck, heavy cards energetically. She will not sail through any confirmation process. This will be no crystal stair, no easy ride to victory. Absolutely not. There will be a lot of contention about this nominee to the point where there may well be, for a lot of reasons, even Republicans who are like, yeah, nah, not you. So I'm not saying that she doesn't get the position, but I am saying it will be hard fought. There will be a lot of people voicing opposition to her nomination. So anyway, this was just a quick one for today. Uh, Godspeed to Pope Leo the 14th. May he be a thorn in the side of our government's administration. Um, may he indeed elevate women in the church. I get it, they won't be priests, but may women who hold up the church be given the recognition that they're due. And and may all of you who are fighting the good fight consider getting a copy of St. Michael's Prayer from Leo the 13th and carrying that prayer with you into the fray because it is asking for protection against Satan and his armies. And we know who they are. And this is a war. Cold though it may be, it's a war. So anyway, I'm delighted about this choice. I just think it's very interesting and says a lot about direction that the church is interested in going in. And I think Francis can rest, um, having passed the baton, having had the baton passed in a way that I think he would approve. So anyway, I'll see you all soon. Please do like, share, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And take care.